Welcome back, day traders. The new trading day is going to be volatile. Wall Street investors are wavering between optimism and pessimism, unable to clear up sentiment due to mixed factors. InstaForex analysts have already stressed all risks and opportunities. The New York session on Wednesday created confusion on Wall Street. As expected, the benchmark stock indexes were subdued by glitch consequences and a negative corporate news. The Dow Jones again was the only index to close a bit higher. It rose just 9 points or 0.03% to close almost flat. The Nasdaq shed 0.18% or 20 points. The S&P 500 inched down by 0.02% to close at 4,016 points, and the major indexes opened on Thursday on an optimistic note. The benefactor of intraday optimism was Tesla, whose stocks jumped by more than 7%. This enabled stocks of other top companies to regain their footing. Futures on the Wall Street indexes went up in sync. The stock indexes traded higher before the publication of a crucial economic data. The S&P 500 is expected to trade in the corridor between 3,970 and 4,090 points. The three stock indexes rebounded in the second half of the day and closed far from their intraday lows. The reasons behind pessimism yesterday were corporate reports by Microsoft, a failure in its cloud services, and concern fueled by glitch on the New York Stock Exchange. Later yesterday, Wall Street was inspired by other high-tech giants, Tesla and IBM. The report by Tesla showed that sharp price cuts boosted demand for its e-cars. Besides, Elon Musk tried to dispel fears that a airline economy will weaken demand for e-vehicles. The company's revenue and income surpassed Wall Street forecast despite a steep decline in production costs. According to Refinitiv, Tesla's revenue in the final quarter of 2022 equaled to $24.32 billion, higher than the expected $24.16 billion. Elon Musk did not achieve his ambitious goals of car sales in recent years. He said that car deliveries could be as high as 2 million cars in 2023 unless there are no bottlenecks. He also expects a tough recession this year, but demand for Tesla cars will be strong despite some contraction in the car market. Tesla shares locked a slump last year due to worries about demand and the Twitter takeover deal. The quarterly results helped the shares to recover by 7% intraday. IBM also revealed upbeat financial records. The company reported the strongest annual revenue in a decade by 5.5%. According to Refinitiv, the total income stood at $16.69 billion, more than the median forecast of $16.40 billion. IBM announced that it had fired 3,900 employees. Its shares dropped by 2%, having raised previous gains. All in all, 5 from the 11 sectors in the S&P 500 closed in the red yesterday. The utility sector incurred the heaviest losses. Today, market participants are focused on the preliminary US GDP data for the fourth quarter of 2022. The US economy grew by 2.9% segmentally in the final quarter, following a 3.2% increase in the third quarter. The region is stronger than the forecast for a 2.6% growth. The US economic output expanded by 2.1% for the whole of 2022, following a 5.9% expansion in 2021. The US economy retained a decent pace of growth in the fourth quarter because of robust consumer activity. Nevertheless, it could be the last positive and upbeat quarterly report because recent macroeconomic data indicates that the US economy has losing momentum. For example, retail sales fell sharply in the last 2 months. The manufacturing sector and The housing market are losing steam. On the plus side, durable goods orders came in beyond market expectations. The volume of durable goods orders jumped by 5.6% on months in December. It's the sharpest growth since July 2020 and much stronger than the consensus, which suggested a modest growth of 2.5%. Durable goods orders ex transport dipped by 0.1%. The stock market was discouraged by stubbornly resilient labor market. The number of initial unemployment claims still signals steady demand for the workforce. First-time jobless claims dropped by 6,000 last week to 186,000, whereas the forecast was 205,000. Market sentiment today will also depend on a new home sales data, which is due after the opening bell. More companies will unveil their corporate earnings, such as Visa, Intel, MasterCard, and LVMH. The US dollar index is overwhelmed by the doom and gloom. Before the release of a macroeconomic data, its index slipped to 101.50 on an 8-month low and bounced intraday to 101.70. Its Canada is seen between 101.20 and 102.30. The US dollar tumbled to the lowest level since May 2022. On the one hand, the greenback is weighed down by the signs of an economic slowdown. On the other hand, forecast by the top US companies also signal a looming recession. Gloomy forecast and massive layoffs in the high-tech sector assured investors that the US Fed would moderate the pace of rate hikes soon. Even a decline in unemployment claims did not shake this faith. Recent remarks by Fed policymakers prove that the Federal Reserve is no longer the most hawkish among central banks. Market participants are anticipating that the Bank of England and the ECB will raise interest rates by 50 basis points next week. They predict a rate hike by 25 basis points for the Fed Reserve. Yesterday, the Bank of Canada increased the key interest rate by 25 basis points, so the market believes in the dovish reversal of the US Fed. In response to the Bank of Canada's decision, the currency market was hit by the sell-offs of the US dollar. It means that the greenback is vulnerable to dovish rhetoric. The Canadian dollar went down following the Bank of Canada's decision, and today the loonie is getting ground against its American rival. Having climbed by 0.1%, the USD CAD pair is trading at about 1.3379 within the wide corridor between 1.3290 and 1.3440. The Bank of Canada raised the overnight target rate to 4.5%, at the highest level in the last 15 years. It's likely to take a pause in the monetary tightening to evaluate the effect of previous rate hikes. The regulator predicts Canada's economic growth of 1% this year, higher than 0.9% in October forecast. The domestic economy could slow down in the second half of the year. Inflation is expected to ease to 3.6% versus 4.1% in the previous forecast. Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem said that he would focus on whether to raise interest rates further. The agenda for lower interest rates is out of the question as long as the bank is fighting against high inflation. As for the oil market, oil prices rebounded today. U.S. crude inventories expanded less than expected. WTI rose by 1.2% and Brent crude added 1% to trade at $87.04. Bitcoin is making wild price swings. The crypto spiked above 23,600, but it failed to settle at this high and cost more than $600. The token is eager to consolidate at a new comfortable level of 23,000. The information background has been beneficial in the last 2 days. However, traders locked in profits, thus complicating the task for the bulls. Popular altcoins are trading lower today. Recently, the crypto market neglects industry news and displays its correlation with the high-tech sector of the stock market. The intraday forecast for Bitcoin is the following. fails to take out $22,800, the price will fall to $22,500. Alternatively, if the token retests the high of 23,600, it will extend its growth. Make prudent trading decisions with the InstaForex analysts. Consider all headwinds before you enter the market. See you online tomorrow.